Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Supplierity News podcast. Before we get into today's conversation, I want to say, as always, thank you for all the support, the likes, the comments, the views that you guys continue to give us, especially over the past couple of months. Well, actually, month and a half or so. We really appreciate it. For me, I'm just trying to get to like the 10,000 views, which we're pretty close on getting. But again, like definitely thank you. As always, I have with me my
Yeah,
podcast partner, Ray Hayes. So Ray, thanks for joining us. Joining me today.
I know. No problem at all. How you doing, Jaymie?
Pretty good,
So
pretty good.
obviously you're doing good, but you want the 10,000. So
Yeah, we want the 10K. We're
I
like
answer for you. I got you.
we're like 3,000 away. So hopefully we can get it uh, pretty soon. But as
Yeah, we definitely
always,
can in due
yeah,
time. Yeah.
as always, click that like button. If you enjoy what we're doing with the podcast, if you enjoy what we're doing with the website, um, and everything about that. Just a quick plug before we get into our conversation. I know that you guys can see the picture of the Dreamers Not Criminals pick or DACA, so that is something we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something right before we get into that. But quick plug again. But before we get into this, I'm actually starting another website, similar to like Investopedia, but it's for supply diversity and small business. So just putting out on the website, it's just gonna have different like definitions. If you have just different questions about different small business programs like 8A, Hub Zone, as well as different questions about again different definitions, as well as guides to uh, how to start how to start a small business, as well as reporting, diversity spin, et cetera, et cetera. So look out for that in the coming weeks and whatnot. Uh, as we kind of wrap that up. But with that small plug in the beginning, let's go ahead and let's get into our conversation, Ray. So I know we were having a really passionate one uh, before we hopped on here, and it was about the recent Monique Netflix deal, or non-deal, if you will. So I'm going to pass it over to you. Can you walk us through it, and then we can have a conversation about it?
Yeah. So Monique, the comedian, I know a lot of people have heard of her from her major role in Precious. She was Precious' mother, abusive mother. She actually won an Oscar in 2009 for a role for Precious' mother, which she played her butt off. We can give her that. However, 2009, about let's say three movies. One being Blackbird, another one being Steppin', the movie, and Almost Christmas, which came out in 2016, which was her last movie uh, since since last big name movie since Precious in 2009. Almost Christmas grossed domestically about 42 million. Blackbird only grossed 78,000 domestically. So she hasn't had a big role almost since 2009. A
I feel
standout role
I
since
feel like you're being I
2009.
feel like you're being really generous, right? Let's
No, 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 no. We
you
gotta
are.
be honest. We gotta be honest here.
You're
Give her
being
a play. And also Monique is known as one of the queens of comedy. She had a great show, a TV show, The Parkers, which lasted for several seasons. It was a good show.
yeah. Parker's is good.
And overall, she's considered a very good comedian. So let's get into it where she's talking about Netflix. Okay, Netflix originally offered her a special, a stand-up special. As you know, Chris Rock has a special on Netflix. Dave Chappelle recently came out with a Netflix special within the last few months. So let's say
Michael
in
Shea has a
December
good
he
one
came out with
too.
a new
So does Cat Williams. Yeah.
tool.
Michael Shea,
Okay,
Cat
so you
Williams.
have a lot of people are getting into the Netflix stand-up, and also a female comedian who has a Netflix special that came out recently was Amy Schumer. Okay, so Monique, when she was going through negotiations for a Netflix special, Netflix supposedly originally offered her $500,000 for the special. Now Monique said she was lowballed, and that was a form of gender bias and color bias. Now let's get the statistics right. Like I said, the last female comedian who had
A big,
a
high
Netflix
profile.
special was
Yeah,
Amy Schumer.
yeah, high
A
profile.
high profile, right?
Mm.
High profile was Amy Schumer. During the time when she came out with her Netflix special, she had sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a hit movie out that same year. So Netflix originally offered her less than $10 million, but after negotiations, her final offer was $11 million. So she got $11 million for her stand-up. Now, when Monique asked why did she get lowballed, and how could Amy Schumer make more than her when she came out with Precious in 2009, and she won an Oscar for it. Amy Schumer didn't have an Oscar. So Netflix supposedly told her that it's not based off your resume. Okay. So they went on to proceed to provide Amy Schumer's resume to let Monique understand why they gave her $11 million.
But you just said that it's not based off of
But
the resume.
they told her.
Yeah.
They said it's not based off resume. But they gave Amy Schumer's resume to break down why she received $11 million.
That makes no sense.
Point blank, Amy Schumer was hot. Monique is not hot. And she's quote-unquote being blackballed as well, too, by Oprah Winfrey. Well, she was blackballed by Oprah Winfrey.
Really?
Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels.
Why?
That's what she's claiming, yes.
Why? Okay, I didn't know this.
Because she turned down a role. And I don't know the full logistics about what happened, but she claimed that she was blackballed. Oprah Winfrey tried to call her to explain some things to her. You know, Tyler Perry called and apologized about it.
Well, blackballing?
Everything. And I guess not necessarily blackballing her, but like, I'm not going to speculate because I really don't understand why. But she's saying, point blank, she's saying they blackballed.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll
After a Precious role, that's why she hasn't had any big roles because of Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. And those are big name people in the entertainment industry right now.
Yeah. If taking it at face value, if they wanted to blackball her, they could. Not saying they did, but okay.
Okay. Right. But let me ask you this then. Is she right and publicly say that we should boycott Netflix due to the fact that she experienced color bias and gender bias? And my question to you is, did she actually experience color bias and gender bias in the first place? Those two questions.
Okay, yeah, I can answer them both. No and no. No, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't boycott Netflix. And no, she's not experiencing gender, racial bias because Netflix won't pay her the money she thinks she's worth. So first and foremost, we always think that we're worth more than what other people feel that we are in terms of, how much money we should be getting paid based off of the time that we put in, for work or a product or service or what have you. So I understand where she's coming from. That is to be expected. With that being said, and we said this offline, and we were having like a really good conversation, which is why I said we should jump on and just talk about this, but nobody's really looking for a Monique special on anything.
Yeah,
right?
You're 100% right.
Truth hurts, right? But it is what it is. Me personally, I actually think that the $500,000 sounded about right? Monique, you do this. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Terrence Howard Iron Man situation. When Terrence Howard got brought in for Iron Man, and he was the highest paid actor actually on the first Iron Man. A lot of people don't know that. So when Iron Man 2 came out, they wanted to pay him less and make Robert Downey Jr. the highest paid. And then Terrence Howard was like, "Oh, that's not fair." And then Robert Downey Jr.
That's rightfully so.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. had to bring him in and say, "Hey, look, you're not looking at the long-term picture here. This isn't just Iron Man 2. This could be an entire there's a lot more that can happen down the line where you can get paid consistently and make a lot more, but you got to have a long-term view." Terrence Howard did not have a long-term view. He said, "Screw this. And now,
Shit, no, man.
yeah, luckily he was able to bounce back with his TV series. So good for him. In the long term. But like, yeah, there was definitely
It
imagine.
still is
He lost some money there,
still
right?
no comparison to the Avengers.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
right. He
lot.
could be making double money, right? He can make money off the Avengers as well as what TV series is he in?
Empire.
Exactly, as well as Empire. So he could really be a hot commodity had he thought this through. But and this is what this is with the Monique situation. Like 500,000. Does she think she's worth more? Sure, okay, fine. But she's not looking at the long term view. If this is a hit, this could be a resurgence for her. Like this could be the stand up that puts her back on the map because no offense, but she's not on the map right now. Puts her back on the map, and this could go from 500 to who else knows. I mean, Girls Trips just came out, right? We're seeing,
Yeah.
Black Panther's about to hit. It's about to be hot to be a black female in entertainment over the next couple of months. Like if you set yourself up right, this could be a huge win for you if you're at the top. I mean, there's always been the criticism that there is no black female who is, at the height of comedy, right? And this could be her resurgence, but instead she's not
But
looking at this as an opportunity, and she's finding
go
victimhood
ahead.
in a situation where she could use this as an opportunity to make even more money 6 months from now from the Netflix deal. Yeah, what were you about to say?
But you said something. You brought up the fact that this is a good time to be a black female in entertainment.
It's setting
Possibly.
up. It's setting up to
If
be
you
a
can
good.
deliver.
It's setting up to be a good.
Yeah, it's setting up, but you have to deliver quality.
Right, you got to be at the
Now
top. Though.
you look at. I'm looking at Taraji P Henson. She just came out with what is it? Proud Mary. It flopped.
Mary. Yeah.
It flopped in the theaters. Now she's stating that it was due to the fact that she didn't get enough publicity for the movie. So, only reason I brought that up because
I just read that.
You have to deliver the quality too. So, if, like you said, Monique, she's
actually her primary was in that defense. Actually, her primary was an okay movie from a couple of people.
Yeah, I mean, I heard too. Like people liked it.
Yeah.
But my thing is that the fact. Go back to Monique. What if you went back into negotiations with Netflix and tried to do it again instead of coming out to the public saying, "Okay, I was blackballed. I mean, not blackballed, but I was it was gender bias and color bias. Why not go back in and talk this over? Because, like you said, this could have brought about her resurgence into the entertainment industry. Nobody's checking for Monique right now. Honestly, before Precious, nobody was really checking for Monique.
I can't remember. It was almost 10 years ago.
And nobody was checking. Nobody. Okay. I mean, honestly, nobody was really checking for Monique.
Okay.
She's a funny person. She's a funny comedian. Yeah, don't get me wrong. She's definitely funny, but it's kind of like, before you go about saying that, let's bring that in. This is like one of those Trump blunders. Before you go on Twitter and write this down, let's talk about it first. Let's figure out a way how we can resolve this situation before we put it on a public platform for everybody to hear our dissentment for Netflix.
Exactly. This isn't
because now you not only put yourself in a crazy predicament, but now you're putting yourself up to all the criticism that's going to come from this.
Yeah, man.
You have Chris Rock brother, who recently just talked about it, and he brought up the fact that she's crazy as hell. Wanda Sykes said she was offered less than $500,000. So it's kind of like Monique's not the only one, but Wanda Sykes, you didn't have her go on and say, okay, let's boycott Netflix.
Yeah.
No, we have to figure out, okay, how can we resolve this situation? Maybe, okay, I can get $1 million if I do this. But nobody, like you said, Jaymie, nobody technically is looking for a Monique special right now.
Yeah, it's
what special have you heard where Monique was just, I gotta see that.
Yeah, and let's bring that up. For example, like the whole Dave Chappelle, like, if I'm not mistaken, he had like record numbers at the time for getting paid for doing, I think it was a 2 or 3 part Netflix special. Last I checked, Dave Chappelle is black, right? Like this doesn't have as much to do as the race, gender. Okay, possibly I'll give you that, but then Amy Schumer's made almost. Then Amy Schumer makes 11 million, so it's not really gender. You know, it's what you're bringing to the table, and right now she doesn't have much to bring to the table right now. Okay, like we just said, Monique is a very funny person. She comes on, she kills it. She renews for a second. Now, when she's renewing for a second or third Netflix, if she does like tremendous numbers, and she's telling me, and she says, "Hey, they're only trying to give me 500,000, the same that they gave me the first one." Okay, we have a conversation. Now I can understand where you're coming from, and now I can understand why you want support, so that people can back you on this. But your first one, we don't know what the numbers are going to do.
Right.
You haven't done anything in the past decade. I mean, I'm confused as to what the issue is. Now, I don't know her current going rate. You know, it could be more than that. I doubt it. You know, but nah, it's not that. Let's be honest. It's probably not 500 million.
But let me ask you this: do you put anything to the fact that she's an Oscar winning actress?
Nope.
At all?
No, nothing. Absolutely not. What does that matter?
Why not, though?
You're doing a comedy.
Isn't that a huge accomplishment?
You're doing a comedy special.
Okay.
Who cares? Like,
you got a point.
Even if
because
she wasn't,
the fact of it is, could they advertise it? An Oscar-winning comedian Netflix special
she didn't
coming
get
in
an
March.
Oscar for
Could
being
they
a
advertise it like that?
No, because she didn't. No, that would be false advertising. She didn't get an Oscar for being a comedian. First off, second off, that happened a decade ago. I mean, third off, who cares? Like, it's. I think when you usually promote an Oscar, the fact that they want an Oscar, like for example, when Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, they're doing like The Post, right? That okay, they're Oscar winners and whatnot. I'm not sure about Meryl Streep, but we all know Tom Hanks has. So there's an Oscar winner, like, you know, so that lets you know that okay, I'm going to get a quality performance in this, you know, drama film. I need to go see this because I know at the very least this is going to be quality, right? That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How am I, if I'm going to go see a comedy stand-up, why would her being an Oscar-winning actress, like, what quality am I expecting here, right? like I don't. If there was
what role would it pay me going to see this?
Yeah, if there was a prestigious comedy award, they could advertise that. If it was like the Richard Pryor Award, you know, that was given annually, and she won that, okay, you know, I could see that. But like, no, Oscar, absolutely not. No, they shouldn't. All right.
Well, you got a point.
But yeah. So
you definitely have a point. But let me say this.
Yeah, let's wrap this up because we actually
another
have to
thing
talk about the main point.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But one thing also about her rant and her asking people to boycott Netflix, I think she's only playing to a certain base, and that's black people.
Yeah, it's only
boycott Netflix because it's color bias. I'm a black female.
Yeah, she can.
They're not giving me this money.
Yeah.
But check it out. Cat Williams just came out with a Netflix special. He's really been popping recently. But it's kind of like, I want to hear about the Cat Williams special. Because, you know, he brought excellence in his last comedy stand-up special. Now, it wasn't on Netflix, but the last stand-up special that Cat Williams had, it was hilarious. Everybody was raving about it. But it's kind of like,
you haven't heard anything about Monique before this.
You know? Monique doesn't have that right now. Yeah, she doesn't have that. So it's, I mean, I hope she can get this situated. It sucks to see that this is happening. But I mean, I hope they go back into the negotiation table and possibly maybe say, okay, well, you want more than 500,000? Okay, let's work something out because we don't want you to go about putting our name in the dirt too.
Yeah,
we're not paying you because
I do think that there's money. Yeah, there's money in the Monique special. There is. So I agree with you going back to the table.
Well, go ahead. We can go. Let's go on the DACA.
Yeah. Wait. I was going to say something to kind of end it. Shoot. What was I going to say? Yeah. No. Okay. No, I was actually kind of a shot at her. So never mind. I won't say that.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Well, you know what? No. It's not cool. A shot. But what I will say is, if this is how Monique has been acting throughout her other projects, we can see why she's in the situation she is in. That's what I was gonna. Yeah, that was my point. Like, because this is just gone from 0 to 100 for no reason.
But at the same time, you got to think about when a person says, "You don't understand my worth, but I understand my own worth, self-worth." So, yeah, I mean, it's all about self-worth right now. So
that's how you get blackballed.
That's the debate.
Yeah, that's how you get blackballed. That's how.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how situations don't work out the way that you want them to. When you take that stance and you refuse to, because I mean, she's one Oscar, so I get it. But sometimes you have to rebuild your career. It's humbling, but sometimes that's what it takes to be successful. But all right, using that, let's segue over to the DACA debate. Now, without getting too controversial, I'm going to pass this over to Ray, and you can walk us through this, because I know there's something you wanted to talk about. So let's talk about it, and let's give a hefty conversation, and then go from there.
Okay. All right. Like Jaymie said, I did bring it up, the fact that with all the controversy going on in the White House now and this Congress in general with the government shutdown, and a lot of congressional figures and Republicans in particular are saying it's all over the DACA Act, and Trump and Republicans going about ending DACA as of March 5th, which is the deadline right now for the Dreamers.
Right.
So DACA, if you didn't know, is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. President Obama introduced the bill to go about allowing Dreamers, so children of immigrants, to stay in the United States for a certain amount of years. They have to renew the programs every other year. Not every other year, but a couple of years. They pay a renewal fee.
No, you're right. Every
2 years they pay a renewal fee, and they get it. So right now,
well,
like I said, it's a big thing in government where
let's actually
Republicans are fighting sin.
Yeah, can we unpack that a lot
more?
Go ahead. I actually thought you were going to touch on this. So I just want to explain real quick what DACA is, because in my opinion, DACA gets the same issues that affirmative action gets, which when people talk
with the fact that you don't know much about it.
Yeah, exactly, right. So when people discuss affirmative action, they give the definition. They usually give the definition of discrimination and then attribute that to affirmative action, but it's not. And the same thing is going on with DACA. Like, it's sad to say, but I'm seeing, like, on a lot of conservative podcasts that I listen to, that they completely explain DACA incorrectly. They talk about how people are coming over, who are in their 20s, who are 25 and 30, and they get put on the DACA program, and they're trying to portray them as kids, but they're not. But that's completely incorrect. How the DACA program works is, if you come into America and you're under the age of 18, you can qualify to become a DACA, to be a part of the DACA program. Now, how it works is that once you're a part of it, let's say I'm 15 and I become once you become a part of it, you can renew it every 2 years. So if I come in at 15 and then I renew it when I'm 17, as soon as I go over 18, so the third time I renew, or the second time I renew, I'll be 19. I have to either be in college or I have to have a job. And if I don't have one of those two,
you get to work.
Right, exactly. And if I don't have either one of those two, I get kicked out of the country. Okay, so let's make that very clear. So I continue to have to do that every 2 years, and it can last up until you're 30. I believe. So these people, that's why you hear about people in the DACA program who are in their late 20s, because they came over when they were 8 years old, but they've continually had a job, they've continually paid taxes, and now they have a family. Like these aren't people who are just, I came over at 28 and I got DACA. No, they've been here for a while. And they renewed every 2 years, and they're functioning, people in society, and they're really contributing. So I just wanted to say that. But keep going. Sorry.
No, thanks, man. You cleared it up a little bit better than I did, so thanks. But as of now, there's over 800,000 individuals referred to as Dreamers. The DACA bill was rescinded as of September 5th by the Trump administration, which stated it was unconstitutional. Just a few months ago, the Dreamers you talked about, Jaymie, they were offered to send in a $500 fee for a renewal application. But here's the thing. They only got about a month's time to gather up $500 to send over for a renewal fee. Now, out of that bunch of people who tried to get a renewal, only about 22,000 did not even send over the application. Another 1,900 people sent the application in but were rejected because of mail delays. So it's kind of like, yeah, I sent it in, but the mail screwed me over. Now I was rejected because of that. That sucks. I mean, it absolutely sucks. But many Republicans are claiming that nothing is going to happen to those people who were rejected and those 22,000 people who did not get their application in time because the deadline isn't until March 5th. However, it seems to be that something will happen. That, okay, we don't know the fact that, okay, the program, we have all these immigrants. We don't know what we're going to do with them.
Right.
So if they didn't get it in time, they're still eligible to be deported. But my thing was, when we talked about it, Jaymie, there's over 800,000 individuals as of 2017 who are considered dreamers, right? Let's say
sounds right. Sounds about right.
Roughly 50% of those people are not rejected for renewal, right?
Okay, 400,000.
What are you going to do with those 400,000 people? Are they all going to go to? I mean, how can you all send them back, deport them at one time? Are they going to go to private prisons? And private prisons will become wealthy now? Is that the whole plan behind this all? Because it doesn't make sense. Because if they can't get the renewal and they are given the honest try to renew their applications, then so be it. It sucks to say, but they're going to get deported. If they didn't meet the requirements, their work requirements and all that, then, like I said, it sucks to say it, they're going to get deported. But if you're not giving them a chance to even pay the fee for the renewal application, you're not helping them. You're guaranteeing them they're going to fail from the get-go.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't have $500 to just give in within a month's time for a renewal application. Because a lot of these dreamers are working penny ante jobs. Not penny ante, but like minimum wage jobs.
I don't know about that. How do you know?
But then another thing we have to. What did you say?
Is there a stat that says that most dreamers are working minimum wage jobs?
I'm not saying most. I'm not saying most. I'm just saying a lot. I'm not saying most. I'm saying the majority of them.
Yeah, we can statistically.
Just
you're
a
right.
few of them.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
So
a lot, just a lot.
So I'm just saying a lot of them are going to get screwed over at the end. But when it comes down to it, a lot of these dreamers offer skill sets that most Americans don't offer. When it comes to the Californian farming system, a lot of Americans don't possess these skill sets a lot of these dreamers have. So we're losing out on their forefront too. But Jaymie, what do you think about it?
About this whole dreamer scenario? Right. So I agree with you with the whole. It seems as if we're, based off of what you just said, it seems as if we're creating a process that's setting up people to fail, right? And that's not informing people on exactly what the next steps are to make sure that you can stay in the country. I think it's safe to say that the government probably doesn't know the next steps for DACA, for people on the DACA program to stay here if that becomes an option, because as of right now today we don't know. But so I definitely agree with you on that. My take is so. Right, so in the broader sense, what about 11 million about 11 million people in America are undocumented workers, or if you want to go completely on the other side, they're illegal immigrants. So this is just one part of that. What I will say is, and I take it from this perspective, right? So there's 400 million people in America, right now. Citizens, 400 million citizens.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at specifically the DACA program, which are documented illegal immigrants, I guess, which is kind of weird to say, but there's about 800. Let's go with the 800,000 number. That's less than 1%
Mm-hmm.
of the American. That's less than
Of the
1%.
population.
Yeah, exactly, of the American population. Why we don't, since we've already got them documented, why we can't just create a process for them to become citizens? And these are for the
U.S.
people who have
citizens.
these people who have jobs, who are in the military, who are in college and whatnot. Why we can't just create a process for them? These 700,000, which we go from 400 million to 400 million and 700,000. My goodness, like it's not that big of a jump here. Like why we don't, especially for these people, because we know their situations. They came in, they didn't have a choice in coming over here. This is the only home that they know.
Right.
Like why we can't just create a process for them to become immigrants, and then we create if hey, if you want to do this, fine. Create legislation where you talk about what's quote unquote. I don't know if I don't know if it's a derogatory term or not, but like anchor babies, where people come over and then have kids.
Now, what is that?
When people from other countries come to America and have kids, like they just come to America just to have the baby, because if you have a baby in America,
Okay.
then they're a U.S. citizen.
And U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So so if there's like legislation, like if you want to set something like that, or you can't bring, if you have a kid with you or something, there's some type of way you handle that. I mean, fine. I don't know what that solution is, but go for it. But in terms of dealing with the people on DACA right now, I just don't understand why we can't have that process in place. If you want to, the other 10 million and 200,000, 10.2 million, undocumented workers / illegal immigrants, however you want to handle that can be separate. But for the DACA recipient, like the DACA people, like I don't understand. I mean, just like they're not just okay. Just make them Americans. I don't get it. Like I don't get it. So for me, I'm confused, and I think that they should just be given the process to become Americans, because it's the only country they know.
But that's the thing. Like you stated it before. Like the fact that we're confused about the whole program itself. But I mean, the people who are making the rules about the program, I think they're confused about what's the next step. About what can they do. And I don't think they thought it through yet.
I mean, it's crazy.
And that's what this problem comes in.
I'm not going to get too much into it, but there's already been reports out about how there was a bipartisan deal on the DACA program. With Mitch McConnell, the Republican senator, a majority leader, and Chuck Schumer, Democratic senator. Bipartisan deal. Both parties agreed on it, brought it to Trump, and then he shot it down. This is before the government shut down. So there was a plan for the DACA people, for the DACA program.
And I remember they did say that Trump, one minute he wants to approve the bill, but then the next minute somebody's gotten in his ear, and his whole mindset has changed.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't have to go too in depth on that.
Right.
Don't want to take sides.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, this is, why can't any DACA deal, get done? I honestly don't know. And you're just saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at statistics, and 3/4. I mean, as high as 3/4 of Republicans, have a positive outlook on the DACA program.
That's a lot.
Yeah, like I mean, so this is why we can't figure this out. I just don't have any clue. Again, we're not dealing with 30-year-olds who are like, coming in with 8 arrest warrants on them. Like, no, we're dealing with 8, 9-year-olds who came in who now they're 30.
Yeah.
If again,
you got a point.
This is the only home they knew. Just they're American. In my opinion, I mean, isn't that what America's about? America's an ideal.
Obviously not.
I don't know, man. America, a country that's built off of immigrants not wanting to legalize. immigrants. I don't understand, but America, right? But
It's
anyway,
yeah. Here, neither there. I guess it is what it is.
yeah. So let's not get too deep into it. So anyway, um, uh, with that being said, that's pretty much our thoughts on DACA and Netflix. Kind
Well,
of,
before we go, I know we
yeah.
didn't talk about it before. What did you think about the BitConnect? The chaos with that.
Ah man, you know we can actually talk about that offline. I saw some. It
Okay.
was just no. I'm just because as I'm following that cryptocurrency situation with BitConnect, like it is. There's
It's
no
getting
winners
crazy.
in that. Well, there's just no
Even
winners in that. Like there's the conversation has quickly turned ugly, and I just maybe that's something we could do
very
separately.
ugly.
Yeah, I don't want that ugliness to be brought on. When we're talking about ways to improve DACA and Monique's
Okay.
Netflix situation.
Nah.
But yeah, we can definitely talk about it. But it's an unfortunate situation. And I really hope everybody gets their money back. But yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah. We
yeah,
hope. Yeah. Definitely.
yeah. So that's gonna keep it real general. It's a bad situation. Hope everybody gets their money back. But and I'm not joking when I say that. But yeah. So with that being said, that's our podcast. Thanks for joining us. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share the video. Um, so thank you for your time and have a great day.
Have a good one, guys.